Hello and welcome to another painting video. In this video, I'll be painting a word bearer. That pesky legion that was responsible for a little skirmish way back in the 31st millennium. You probably haven't heard of it. Besides painting, I'm also showing you how to apply transfers in case you've never done that before. Let's begin, shall we? I'm using an airbrush for the red armor, but you can also do this with a brush as well. First, I prime the model black with Vallejo black primer. Then I coat most of the model with Khorne Red. I do everything from an angle so the down-facing parts will remain black, creating a shadow. Next, I spray Evil Sunz Scarlet. I try to only hit the upper parts of the armor panels, creating a subtle gradient of red with the previous color. The last step with the airbrush is Wild Rider Red. I make highlights and try to use it sparingly. I use a mix of Nuln Oil and Lahmian Medium to darken the armor a bit, as it looks too clean and bright at the moment. I come back with Evil Sunz Scarlet and create some additional highlights. I use a mix of edge highlighting and adding volume to armor panels. Finally, I use Wild Rider Red to create the final highlights. Because the entire model is red now, it's a little bit hard to see, but once I fill the other details, the red armor will look very nice. Definitely try to use an airbrush with steps like these. If you're painting a big squad of 10 Marines, using the airbrush this way will speed up your process. I use Corvus Black to paint the Pauldrons, gun casing, the myriad of tubes and inner suit. I shade everything I painted with Nuln Oil. And highlight everything in this step with Dawnstone. You could use Abaddon Black in this step, but I do like the ability to shade Corvus Black, creating some more interesting volumes. With Iron Hand Steel, I paint the metal trim on the armor and all the metal bits found on the model, mainly the power pack and bolter. I shade everything with Nuln Oil. And highlight with Runefang Steel. A bronze/gold trim would also be nice, but the official color scheme of the word bearers uses silver trimming, so I'm keeping with that. There are some decorations on the armor that I want to paint brass. First, I paint them with Balthasar Gold. I shade all the brass with Agrax Earthshade. And highlight with Runefang Steel. To add some diversity to the metal parts, it's good to paint some decoration in brass. Otherwise, the model might be a little bit too boring. As a true disciple of chaos, you'll be getting mutations in no time. The horns and Parchment on his belt is painted with Ushabti Bone. I use Skeleton Horde to shade. And Screaming Skull to highlight. I use Thondia Brown to paint leather belt and bullet bag. That's probably not the correct name for that though. I highlight with Skrag Brown. Here's a quick way on how to do some cool glowing green lenses. First, paint the lenses with white scar. Then paint the lenses with Tesseract Glow. Be sure to also add this paint to the surrounding faceplate to simulate a glow effect. This paint works really well on a metallic surface. To add a transfer to a model, you first need to cut it off the sheet. I'll use a hobby knife for this. This is a bit more precise than scissors. After placing the transfer in some water, I apply Microset to the pauldron. This will help adhere the transfer to the surface. Next, I carefully take the transfer from the water with tweezers. And with those tweezers, I carefully guide the transfer to the surface of the pauldron. Use the tweezers again to move the transfer where you want it. Be careful though not to damage it. When the transfer is where you want it, apply some Microsol on the transfer. This will soften up the transfer and make it more flush against a curved surface. And this is how I add transfers. I can definitely recommend Microset and Microsol to make sure the transfer will adhere to uneven surfaces. Weathering time. I paint the entire model with streaking grime, as I did with my previous Chaos Space Marines. I use both a microfiber cloth and Q-tip with white spirit to remove the grime once it dried a little bit. This will reveal the original colors on the raised areas, leaving the grime and dirt in the recesses. It's truly grimdark in a bottle. And here we have a bearer of the word, ready to tell you all about the lords and saviors that preside in the warp. Their armor is festooned with writing, so you could either use the transfers in the Chaos Space Marine kit, or maybe try some freehanding. Next up is the last of the undivided legions, the poster boys of the Black Crusade, the Black Legion. In the meantime, check out my Instagram, where I post pictures of current projects and behind the scenes stuff. But for now, thanks for watching.